My Hero Academia Season 2 is without a doubt my favorite part of the entire anime that we've seen so far. The way that everything was handled was done so phenomenally. It was done to such a high level. The entertainment value, the tension, the stakes, the growth, the character developments that occurred all in this one season truly changed my mind on my hero and made me a fan. Now note guys, when I first started watching My Hero Academia, I'd come right off watching Hunter x Hunter. While I definitely have some mixed feelings about the entire Chimera Ant arc and particularly on its pacing, Hunter x Hunter is definitely without a doubt one of the best shows and animes around. So when I first came into My Hero Academia, I was put off slightly, as understand conventional shonen anime was starting to become a wee bit dry during this time. We've seen it done before, and not just this, we were also getting a little bit of superhero fatigue because of the oversaturation of the content put out by Marvel Studios. So it was a two-pronged thing. We're getting a little bit tired, a wee bit tired of shonen anime, and a wee bit tired of the entire superhero genre. So this show had to bring something different for us to grab onto it. Now, firstly, I'll be honest with you guys, I personally didn't really enjoy season 1. It definitely, without a doubt, had its moments and I saw potential in the show, which is why I continued to watch it, even though I wasn't too impressed. Now, when I got over to season 2, that's when everything changed and my entire opinion on the show definitely changed. There are three main sectors in this entire season 2. It is the UA Sports Festival, the Hero Internship arc, and finally the Practical Exams arc. All these three parts of the season bring something special to the show that each part doesn't bring, and we're able to see subsequential growth within each of the characters, particularly Midoriya, as we see him finally learn to control his quirk to a high ability. Now, let's consider the UA Sports Festival arc, where we see a huge amount of resilience from Midoriya. This is the first time we're able to see his intelligence used in a real life scenario. We're able to see his grit, his drive, his ability to not give up. He's truly a main protagonist that's worthy of the attention, and he definitely showed why he was absolutely worthy to inherit One for All, considering how he won the first race by ingeniously using the bombs to propel him to the front of the finish line, him using his intelligence to beat and almost become the winner in the cavalry battle, and his ability to end up saving Todoroki. Even though at the end he ended up losing the battle because of him helping Todoroki, he showed the traits of being a true hero. Not just that, these moments are definitely cool and there's some great philosophical moments, and we definitely learn about these cool characters such as Shoto Todoroki, but without a doubt, throughout this tournament arc, I was absolutely entertained. The entertainment value in season 2 is absolutely at its peak. It's very exciting. The action is good and exciting, and you guys have to note, like at this point, I don't know about you guys, but personally I was like, oh man, another tournament arc? Another one? My heroes finally reached that time. It's time for a tournament arc. I thought I was going to be fatigued by this point, but no. The way that they executed it was very unique, very interesting, and very entertaining, and I was intrigued and engaged throughout the entire tournament. And in this tournament, we're finally able to see and identify who were the real menaces in the UA, who was going to be the next generation of the top dogs, and we're clearly able to see that it was going to be Midoriya, Todoroki, and Bakugo. Those are the guys that seem to be the most dangerous and deadly in terms of potential. It was very cool to see their growth and see how they squared up against each other. Now, I've mentioned that the UA Sports Festival is really, really good, but personally, I think you know what, no, that's not true. I still definitely rate that the Midoriya versus Todoroki fight was definitely something really, really special, and it's probably the climax of the entire season. I would definitely put the internship part, particularly this UA students versus the hero killer Stain, being the very, very close second to that. Now, there are a number of things that happened before that, as Midoriya first learned how to properly control All For One and finally unlock his full cowling that allows him to use One For All throughout his entire body without causing bodily harm. It was cool for us to finally see Midoriya make some substantial growth and fight against a real menacing villain that was actually killing people and their lives were on the line. This is what a lot of shows tend to falter in. I think of shows and it annoys me so. I think back to a show that does this and fails to do so, Dragon Ball Super. Now, Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion, shouldn't have really even happened in the first place. It does kind of feel more so like a cash grab than a dedication or love for the fans than anything else. But one thing that unfortunately Dragon Ball Z suffers from, and Dragon Ball Super in particular, is a lack of tension and stakes. You never feel like anything is really on the line. For what reason? The heroes rarely ever lose, and even if they do, there are a number of cop-outs that are there to help them. Notably, the Dragon Balls, the Super Dragon Balls, which were recently introduced in that show, and of course, Zeno, who is a friend of Goku. So if anything ever goes into absolute shambles, there's always something or someone that is going to save them. This is why I think shows that have true tension and stakes definitely hit the entertainment value and are truly phenomenal. I cast to Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and a number of other shows that really capture the essence of this very, very well, even Berserk, the manga. Now, I've never felt so much tension than in this moment when Ida, Todoroki, and Midoriya are fighting the hero killer Stein, because without a doubt, this guy was going to kill these kids, bro. Like, without a doubt, he was going hams, bro. Dude, Ida was getting chopped up, dog. Like, what do you mean? He was getting chopped up. Like, the stakes were extremely high. Nobody was safe at all. If these guys were not on their A game, they were definitely going to lose. And shout out to Hero Killer Stein. His quirk, I'll be honest with you, is not even that impressive. The reason that he was able to go toe to toe with these menaces, these boys who are gifted in terms of their quirk ability, is because of his physical ability, his physical abilities, his physicality, his training, his swordsmanship. All of this was the pivotal moment that made him be able to go to toe with all of these prodigies, fighting them all at once. Now, if you were to cut out even one of these guys from these fights, it would have ended horribly for all of these guys. It was a very worthy fight, and it was extremely entertaining. Heat was on, and Hero Killer Stein definitely brought up a very good argument about a number of these heroes that are in My Hero Academia. A lot of them enter into the field for a number of selfish reasons, and there are honestly very few heroes who do this out of the goodness of their hearts. It brought out a thought-provoking question, and his legacy definitely lives on throughout My Hero Academia, and it was cool to see how his appearance was able to change the young kids, including Midoriya. Definitely an interesting and exciting arc. Now, of course, there are some other episodes where we see the internships of the other heroes, but I want to jump straight to the final part of the season, the practical exams, which is kind of, I guess, another tournament type-ish arc as they fight their teachers, fight each other, but it's a great way to measure. I thought it was executed very well, and the timing was very well in terms of the way that they placed these episodes, because in the beginning we had a tournament arc, at the end of it we have a tournament arc, but at the end of the season these characters are completely different, considering the amount of growth that they've had, considering especially Midoriya, who finally has the ability to control All For One at a good level. It's very cool to see how other characters as well. This is what I'll give credit to My Hero Academia. Unlike Naruto, where they essentially abandoned all of the other characters instead of giving enough playtime, screen time to all the other important characters that were of the same age group. Example, Lee, Tenten, Neji, Temari, and all of these other Shiba, all of these other characters that are in the similar age group. My Hero Academia definitely does the right thing and gives them their due attention and develops them correctly. So it's not just the Midoriya and Bakugo and Todoroki show. No, these other characters, do get a decent amount of screen time, and they do get some character development, notably Yaoyorozu gaining her confidence and being able to defeat their teacher enemies. And of course, we see the great final fight where we finally see the origin story of Bakugo, and we see them fighting together as they take on All Might, and they're finally able to get their ish together. And it's definitely a very cool and interesting fight. But as I've mentioned before, guys, that is not the climax. There were some stronger moments that came before. It's definitely a good and strong finish to end the season off, but the things that happened beforehand, the Shoto Todoroki versus Midoriya fights, and the students versus the hero killer Stain, are absolutely phenomenal. The execution of all of this was extremely well done, compounding this with the excellent soundtrack. The editors, the directors, the animators, the artists did a phenomenal job. The way that everything is placed, the pacing, guys, the pacing of this season is extremely good. You're never bored or uninterested in a certain part of the story. We move quickly from one event to the other, and we don't spend a huge exuberant amount of time on one subject, on one character, on one arc, on one fight. Everything moves smoothly, so we are continuously entertained throughout this entire arc. And this is why I like My Hero Academia Season 2 so much, because in comparison to the other arcs, which definitely have some strong moments, there are times when it peters out. The pacing is alright for My Hero Academia, but there are definitely a number of moments of the show where there's some uninteresting parts throughout, but Season 2 was able to keep that momentum going for the entire duration of Season 2. And that's why I think My Hero Academia Season 2 is so special and is honestly the pinnacle and best season we've seen from start to finish so far. Definitely something special. Now, of course, guys, I'm not a manga reader. I do read manga, definitely I enjoy manga, but I haven't read the manga for My Hero Academia Season 2, so I don't know what is to come. But perhaps, and it probably is, some more good stuff is definitely on the way, and I'm excited to find out what's going to happen next. Yeah, I definitely need to get to watching Season 6 of My Hero that recently came out. I'll be honest with you guys, if I'll just give you a little bit of my thoughts. I wasn't a huge fan of what was it, Season 4? Or season, no, okay, no. So Season 5 was actually pretty good towards the end, as the villains actually got some decent amount of development, as we're able to see Shigaraki's origin and to see him finally use the full capabilities of Decay. But yeah, that season wasn't slapping too hard for me. As I've mentioned before, this is why I even made this video, as the other seasons have had some really strong moments throughout, undoubtedly, for sure. There have definitely, possibly even been some more memorable moments in these other seasons. But if we're talking start to finish as an entire ensemble, Season 2, in my personal opinion, is definitely the pinnacle. Entertainment value was high, tension and stakes were high throughout the entire season. Simply a high quality body of work, gentlemen. So guys, those were my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me your thoughts down there in the comments. For you guys personally, what is your favorite season of My Hero Academia? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, comment, subscribe, dislike, do whatever you want. Just tell me how you feel down there in the comments. My Hero Season 2 will definitely stick with me for a very long period of time. In my opinion, it is phenomenal. Take it easy, gents.